Well, it's 6:30, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I realize people might be coming in, but I do want to respect everyone's time. As we get started, I wanted to do a quick sound check. Looks like Indra and Lily is on. Can you ladies hear me? And can you guys see the PowerPoint okay? Perfect. So I would ask, looks like just to mute your microphone, as it does cut down on the background noise. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Module 5 live session. Here is an overview of what we're going to cover for tonight's live session. We'll start out with introductions, live classroom expectations, important reminders. We'll check on how the course is going, and then we'll dive into some lesson content. We will review learning styles and teaching strategies from last week, and then go over some information from this week's reading in Chapter 8. We will close with a time for you to ask any questions that you may have. So I just want to share a little bit about myself. I think most of you guys know that my name is Mike and I live in Colorado. I'm an education supervisor for a Head Start program in Denver Metro. My favorite children's book is changes from time to time, but my current right now favorite book is Sleepy Squirrel. It's a book from the 80s about a squirrel getting ready for bed who insists that she is not sleepy. I really love this book because I read it to my daughter every night before she goes to bed, and she loves it, and she kind of acts like the squirrel. She pretends that she's not sleepy when she is really exhausted. So now I just would like for you guys to participate and share who you are, where you're from, and your favorite children's book and why. You could use the chat box or you could use the audio. If you are viewing this online, I would like you to please share your name, where you live, and your favorite children's book and why, for one of your responses too as well. So welcome, Lillian, you're from Illinois. Your favorite children's book is The Giving Tree because it teaches about lifelong friendship and being generous in different stages of life and one's worth. Thank you for sharing, Lillian, and welcome tonight to the course. All right, I'm going to give, like Indra signed right back on. So I'm going to keep continuing on as we move along. Thanks for sharing, Lillian, and I'm just going to go over quickly. You guys pretty much all know the live classroom expectations, but if you don't, this is pretty much just review. So if you're attending the live session, you are expected to engage with your instructor and your fellow students about the course concepts. The purpose of the live session is for open dialogue and questions are encouraged. If you cannot attend the live session, the video will be posted the next day. You must complete the live session quiz to earn the credit. And then please answer the questions that I ask. So pretty much after every slide, I will say that what you need to actually address in the live session quiz to earn full credit. So answer the questions that I ask, and then you would receive full credit. If you are in the live session right now, you don't have to do anything except for just to answer any questions and participate in the discussion during this live session. So all you have to do. So I'm going to go over some important reminders. The last day of class is approaching pretty quickly. It is on Tuesday, August 7th. No assignments will be accepted after 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time for any reason. The Module 5 discussion responses are due Saturday, August 4th. Module 5 course project lesson plan part 4 is due Sunday, August 5th. And the Module 5 field experience report is due Sunday, August 5th as well. All field experience hours should be completed and documented on this report. You must have at least 30 hours of field experience or you will not pass the course. So it's very important that you guys make sure that you have all your field experience hours in order to pass the course. Module 6 discussion is due Tuesday, August 7th. No responses to peers or myself are required for that. The Module 6 field experience report is also due on the last day of class, which is August 7th. Do you guys have any questions about that regarding when things are due or completing your field experience hours? So we got a question that asked, are the Module 6 assignments open now? It should be open right now. You can go ahead and submit it earlier if you would like. So you could go ahead and work ahead if you are all caught up. I might not get to grading it right away as I am trying to grade 30 different people's assignments, multiple different things, but I will get to it as soon as I can. Hi, Indra. So I'll just make sure that, yeah, just make sure that you could work ahead, but I just might not get to the grading right away. So it looks like Indra has joined us. Does that answer your question, Lillian? Thank you. Okay. Indra, did you have any questions? I don't know if you could actually hear me, so I'm also going to type in the chat box as well. And if you're watching online, if you do have any questions about the due dates, or if you cannot complete your field experience hours, please make sure to reach out to me as soon as possible, since your field experience hours are due on Sunday. So welcome, Indra. Indra is from North Dakota. So moving on to the next slide, just want to check in. So Lillian and Indra, how are things going right now for you guys? Did you have any aha moments or takeaways from Module 4 that you've learned? Appears that you guys are reading the announcements each week and feedback on my assignments. So, and then do you guys know your overall grade in the class? Please take some time to answer these questions. And also, if you are viewing online, please do the same. As you guys are generating a response, please note that if you guys have any questions, please reach out to me. If you have questions about anything to do with planning, you could always reach out to me. If you need me as a reference for anything, just feel free. I will be available for you guys. So just to let you know that you have that resource as well. So Lillian shared, I do know my grade in the class. I look at all the responses and feedback I receive and appreciate it. I think my takeaway from Module 4 or a aha moment was just recognizing the ineffectiveness and possible damaging consequences of timeouts. I talked with my field experience family about it, and I think they might think before they implement timeout again. That is a great, you know, some families, some cultures, it may work. They might do that. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right, but I just think we know as best practice that it's probably not the best thing to put a child in timeout without having limitations and expectations prior for them to go and not having that conversation. Being early childhood educators, we need to really be thoughtful of trying to scaffold their learning and at all areas of the day. I know sometimes it's harder than others, but especially when it comes to redirection and positive guidance. So thank you for sharing. Hello?
Hi.
Hey, is this Indra?
Sir.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So you could hear me fine and you could see the PowerPoint okay?
Yes, right now, finally.
Good. It's nice to have somebody else on the other end of the audio instead of just typing in the chat box, but I understand. I don't like talking in front of large audiences or people, and I would rather type too as well. But
because I had opened 2 computers here and sorry.
well, that's okay. Thanks. Well, thanks for coming out, Indra. Do you have did you have any takeaways from Module 4? Anything that you've learned? Any aha moments?
From Model 4?
Yeah. I know Lillian shared about the significance of timeouts and how that could be damaging to children, and which it is, I think. But you know, different cultures have different expectations and limitations, and they just do things sometimes a little bit differently. What's your thoughts on all that?
Let me think. I had like a moment like parents get so excited like after we had a conversation about like how positive we are like giving them a feedback every day.
And what kind of feedback do you give them?
Like how the kids are doing every day in the classroom, and how we talk about. I know that parents don't like to talk about like negative, but they want to teach their children a positive things and like a discipline, and so kind of like that. And I just like when I chat with the parents, and sometimes we kind of nervous before and after chatting them, and we find that like they are very excited about that.
Yes, building that relationship with the parents makes it easier when you do have to use positive reinforcement or redirection with the child.
Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing. I'm going to keep on going. I'm just going to keep going as we move along in the live session tonight. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the course project. Just wanted to take a few minutes to go over the course project for this week, since it is due on Sunday. So you will be completing your lesson plan that you have been working on all term. So what you need to do is open up your Module 4 Comprehensive Lesson Plan assignment. This should already include the components from the Module 2, 3, and 4 lesson plan assignments. And then begin by going through the feedback that I left you on your previous course project assignments and making corrections and additions where necessary. You can view my feedback on previous assignments by clicking on the My Grades tab on the left side menu of the course homepage and then clicking on the assignment. You can also view in the text notes by scrolling over the highlighted areas. You can see additional notes by clicking on the rubric as well. So once you've made the necessary corrections, you can open the Module 5 Comprehensive Lesson Plan template, copy and paste the entire Module 5 template onto the bottom of your revised Module 4 Comprehensive Lesson Plan. Complete the Module 5 template and submit the assignment as one document. For additional support on how to use copy and paste to create one lesson plan, you can view the short video available in the instructions for the assignment. And if you encounter any problems while you guys are doing this assignment, feel free to email me, or you could shoot me off a text and just let me know that you're having some technical difficulties, and then I could probably guide you through. Okay?
Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions about the course project?
Sure, like I have one question. Suppose I did my model 4 lesson plan already, and like whatever I have like need to correction, should I do that again?
So if you already made the necessary corrections, you can open up the Module 5 Comprehensive Lesson Plan template, and then just copy and paste the entire Module 5 template onto the bottom of your revised Module 4 Comprehensive Lesson Plan. So once you have you revised your Module 4 Comprehensive Lesson Plan after the edits, then just copy and paste the Module 5 template on the bottom of your revised Module 4 lesson plan.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so it looks like Lillian does not have any questions, and if you are viewing this online, if you have questions, just reach out to me on how to do that. So, last week in Chapter 6, you guys read about different learning styles and teaching strategies. Learning styles are how individuals perceive and process information. There are 3 sensory channels most frequently used by individuals to take in information: seeing, hearing, and touching. So like individuals who learn best by seeing are classified as visual learners. Those who learn best by hearing are classified as auditory learners, and then those who learn best by touching and moving are classified as kinesthetic learners. I, for example, learn best by seeing. I am an observant of visual details. I enjoy writing. I don't want to say I have a photographic memory, but I have a pretty good memory. My wife, on the other hand, she is an auditory learner. She learns best by hearing and enjoys conversations and asks questions. She's also has great attention to detail. So that's how she learns best. I know with our children, using different learning styles in the classroom by hands-on, showing them visuals and talking with them are all great ways of learning. And it's really important that we have to make sure that we are doing this constantly just to meet the needs of all of our children in the class. So as we reflect on it, how do you guys learn? What strategies do you use to promote children's learning? I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys do in the classroom? How do you learn? And if you're viewing this online, this is other questions that you will have to answer in your live session quiz as well. So to take a few moments to reflect on it, and then you could come ahead and go ahead and share. All right, so looks like Lillian has answered the question. She said that Lillian is an auditory learner. I have entire conversations from podcasts memorized in the classroom or field site. I'll try to utilize both visual and auditory styles most often. For example, showing a picture and talking about it in detailed way. I need to work on implementing more kinesthetics into my classroom lessons. Thank you for sharing, Lillian. So how do you learn, Indra? Indra learns visually and auditory as well. What strategies do you promote for children's learning in the classroom? And if you work with infants, do you use sign language? That's another question to ask. So Lillian said that she loves, asked the question if she loves children led crafts. She says she loves all kinds of crafts. I tend to pre-make a lot of the materials for the kids. So I do love to see their creativity shine through, and think letting them lead more would be great. And you know, it's funny that you said that, Lillian, because a lot of my teachers at my Head Start program, they like to do these neat little crafts that take a lot of time, and they're nice and neat. However, they're not really children-led. They're more teacher-directed, and I think that we need, as educators, need to try to get away from the teacher-led activities and let the children use their creativity, so it promotes them to think in a higher level, which will help their cognitive development and other skills and development domains as well. But yeah, you know, it's just something to think about. It takes time to get there, especially if you are taught to be teacher directed, to have a lot of teacher directed lesson plans. It's kind of hard to tend to have children led activities. Indra, what strategies do you use to promote children's learning in the classroom? So it's really important to make sure that you guys are using different learning styles for all children's needs, just because everybody, like, we're all different and we all learn different ways. So I always try to keep that in mind as you are going through your lessons, and having that opportunity for the children to have that access to learn through visual and hands-on and auditory. So as we move along, The Chapter 8 case study was, and this is pretty much what we're talking about this week, is connecting with families in the community. I don't know if you guys had a chance to read this at all, but if you did not, I can read it to you guys if you have not, and then we could talk and discuss about it as well. All right, so I am going to read it then. And then if you're viewing online, you are going to have to respond to these questions too as well. So the case study is about basically there's a lot of good information in Chapter 8, from community outreach to parent conferences, collaborating with school districts for transition to kindergarten, all that good stuff, parent night, volunteering, working with diverse families. So there's a lot of good information, but always take note that parents are the child's first teachers and are responsible for what their children should know upon entering school. So as educators, it is our responsibility to be sensitive to the families that do not attend different school functions. And I'm just going to read a little case study about a real situation. I think it happened in the 70s. So think about how the impact of education now is so much different from back then. So the following vignette is a true story as recalled by Joseph, an American Indian who attended elementary school in the early 1970s. His experiences are certainly not universal and unlikely to happen today. So, however, his story does illustrate the ways in which children's experiences stay with them for many years to come and can influence their attitudes into childhood or into adulthood. The teachers and principal of the local elementary school are puzzled and concerned. They have done everything they can think of to entice the parents of their American Indian children to conferences, meetings, and special events. Virtually no one shows up. Joseph, American Indian father of a kindergarten child, could tell them why and hopes to in the near future. As soon as he can convince his wife that she needs to come too. To answer the school's questions, Joseph needs to tell them about his own experience. It was in the early 1970s, the summer before he entered first grade, that the tribal school was torn down and nearly 100 children were transferred to the district's public schools. Joseph was assigned to the school his daughter now attends. So on the day school began, he and his friends took their first ride in a school bus to their first ever school experience. Arriving at the school, the older children knew to go straight into the building. Joseph and his first grade friends, uncertain about what to do, noticed the nearby playground equipment and ran to it with great glee. Within 5 minutes, the principal emerged from the building, yelled angrily at them, and led them inside, a couple of boys by their ears. Joseph was terrified and overwhelmed. Within a few months, 70 out of the 100 children, which is 70%, had been placed in special education classes. Even at the age of 6, Joseph knew that many did not deserve to be placed there. A number of boys fell asleep in class because they had been out fishing the night before with their fathers. The girls, too shy to speak up in class, chatted about their schoolwork during recess on the playground. Joseph also remembers a disparity in his classroom discipline. Girls could chatter endlessly in the class and never be called out, but if two Indian boys began to talk to each other, they would be paddled on the butt or sent home. Today, Joseph still feels fortunate that he was not sent to special education classes, although he initially was confused by most of what went on. How, for example, could someone look at the big round object on the wall and tell them what time it was? What were their shapes, letters, and numbers anyways? As he looks back on his first grade experience, Joseph knows that many of those 70 children did not belong in special education, or they would not be in the midst of successful adulthood. He himself holds a graduate degree, and he is dedicated to helping today's Indian children gain school success. Joseph knows, too, why parents with decidedly unfond memories of their early schooling don't want to revisit the scene of their unhappiness. He has described the trip from the reservation to the public school as a trip to a foreign country. Although Joseph is aware that the opening scene with the principal would not happen today and that his daughter's school is committed to all its children, he wonders if he will have the courage to tell the school why the parents are reluctant to come. Perhaps his wife can help. So having heard that and just thinking about it, what are your thoughts regarding the case study? And the second question is, how does your program connect with families and community? I could tell you that, so definitely corporal punishment doesn't happen very often in preschools today, but it does still happen and it's still out there. Some states, including Colorado, do have corporal punishment where, you know, the child care teachers can actually spank the child because that's a law that has never been passed by some states, which I don't know why, honestly. I think that it's a little bit ridiculous, knowing that that's not how we treat our children. Well, anyways, with the spanking and how things have changed from now to then, you know, what are your thoughts? Do you think that, what do you think should have happened? It's very interesting that the experiences that we have at a young age does impact us throughout our life, good and bad, but we tend to usually think about the negative experiences and how that drives us to being more reluctant to doing things and trying new things. So Ms. Lillian said the cultural accommodations for the Native American children were not met. They were not respected and their treatment was wrong because since they did not fit in, the Native American students were placed in special education because they were not properly prepared for a forced migration to a new cultural environment that did not accommodate them. Yes. they definitely didn't accommodate them, and I don't think that the education systems back in the 70s really, it was a different culture. And I mean, I could share a story that my uncle, who was he was in high school. This was in the 70s too, by the way. So he was in high school, and apparently he got caught stealing, and he went to school, and the teacher decided that he had too long of hair, so the teacher, and he's a high school student, gave him a haircut. So just different cultures, and I just find that amazing that that actually happened. I just thought that's just really, really weird that different teachers had different tactics back in the day, and I just find it really bizarre, I guess. But I mean, the consequence for stealing was, well, his hair was too long, so he could have a haircut, which I guess can't wrap my mind around that. But I think it's kind of funny, cruel, kind of, but there's a little humor, I guess, into it, because you think about it and nowadays, and there's no way that would ever happen. I mean, if you ever, even being accused of doing anything, you could be fired for accusations. So, yeah, it's a different culture. So, Indra, do you have anything to share? So the next question too is, how does your program connect with families and communities? For me, we have a lot of different things. For me, we have a lot of different things that we do for Head Start. We have different vendors that do come out. So we have the cultural wellness and preschools that come out, and they will actually come and do lessons with their children and the parents. And when they do that, they do like yoga classes for them. We also have cooking classes. But the biggest thing that we do at our center is we have this county literacy festival that we open it up to the whole county, because our program is a county, we're Adams County, and our preschool, or I should say our Head Start program, does this literacy fest where there's a bunch of books, different vendors, and parents come from all throughout, not even just the county, but different counties too. So we really open it up, and there's usually 3 to 5, maybe even 600-700 people there each year, and it's kind of like our end of the year festival. And everybody just has a good time. We have food, there's music, different vendors that come out, different colleges to help recruit for families that, like parents that want to go back to school. It's just a really good, really good thing that we do, and that's one of the best ways that we connect with the families in our program. So, having that foundation and that relationship with your parents makes them more secure about coming to these extracurricular activities, and, just ensuring them that, it's whatever experience that they had prior, that it's a safe place, and just kind of like the kids, it's a safe place, and we're here to help and support as best as possible. I know a lot of child care centers and programs also do daily sheets, or they'll have like back and forth folders. There's just different things that they have as ways of communication with the families about how the children's day was. Sometimes it's a phone call, sometimes it's oh, I can't remember the app that some of the students were talking about. But they even have an app that communicates to the families about how the children's day is going. And we also have a, not really a Facebook page, but kind of a well, I guess you could call it kind of a Facebook page, a closed group of parents that we share of like what's going on when our policy council is, or when screenings are, and just different other things that happens in our program. Does anybody have anything to add? So Lillian has shared that her family care locations allows her to be very close to the families as she works in their homes. We talk for 15 minutes after the day ends to catch up on their children's day and their development, to reach out to the community. The play location she works at has fair and festivals where they raise money to buy books for their reading center for the kids to borrow and exchange for free. That's awesome that you guys do that. We kind of do that too, as well as at the Adams County Literacy Festival. At the end of the year, we kind of do a book swap too with some of the children, or actually every single child that wants a book. They will bring a book from last year and they will swap out for a different book, usually a newer book. But yeah, thanks for sharing. So, Indra, did you have anything to add? So pretty much this kind of concludes our last live session, because both of you guys were here. You guys will get credit for the discussion or for the live session. If you guys have questions, feel free to email me. Do you guys have any questions as of right now before we end our live session? All right, so if I seeing and hearing no questions, I'm going to conclude this live session. If you're reviewing the recording, please answer any of the live session questions that I have asked. Have a great night, ladies, and if you guys have questions, please reach out to me.